Are you someone who loves checklists? Do you love the sense of achievement you feel every time you check off something on that list? But do you often feel like even though you're checking off a lot of items on your to-do lists, you are still not moving forward in the right direction? You still are not able to do the things that mean the most to you, the things that you really want to do. You are too busy. You don't have the time or the energy to focus on the things that are most important to you, the things that are going to transform your life. If this describes you, then the Eisenhower Matrix is going to change your life. Or maybe you're someone who needs help organizing their life and you're not sure where to start. The Eisenhower Matrix will change your life as well. Hello everyone, my name is Bakul Soman and welcome back to my channel. If you like my videos, if you think they're interesting, please take a moment to like them and leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Please also feel free to share them with others that you think might enjoy them and benefit from them. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new weekly content that I upload. So, what is so great about the Eisenhower Matrix? The Eisenhower Matrix makes sure that the things that you claim are important to you remain front and center as you go through each day. If you're a checklist person, it makes sure that the right things end up on your checklist. Having a checklist that is full of items but are not the right items is going to result in you being busy but not efficient or productive. Having the right things on your checklist is what leads to you achieving your life goals. The Eisenhower Matrix allows you to do just that. It is a simple but extremely efficient and brilliant personal management tool. This is what it looks like. It uses a combination of the level of urgency and the level of importance of a given task. It is called the Eisenhower Matrix because in 1954, Eisenhower made a speech in which he referred to this concept of urgent and important. He was actually quoting Dr. J. Roscoe Miller, who was the president of Northwestern University, who said, "What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important." Think about that for a moment. Even though it was Dr. J. Roscoe Miller who actually referred to this dichotomy between urgent and important, it is now commonly referred to as the Eisenhower Matrix. Eisenhower is the one who popularized it, I guess. Some of you may be familiar with this matrix if you have read Steven Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is an incredible book, and if you haven't read it, you need to go read it. In that book, he discussed the Eisenhower Matrix at length when he talked about habit 3, putting first things first. Before we get into the specifics of the Eisenhower Matrix, we need to answer one very important question. How do we decide what is urgent? How do we decide what is important? And what is the difference between the two? Tasks that are urgent are those that require your immediate attention, and there are usually negative consequences, real or imagined, if you do not attend to them. These are things that we react to, okay? So it could be something as simple as a doorbell ringing or a message notification on your phone. We immediately feel we have to react to it. Could be an upcoming project deadline. We react to that. Important tasks, on the other hand, are those that are related to your long-term goals, which ideally you have aligned with your values, your dreams, your ambitions. And this can be in any realm of your life. It could be your health, it could be your fitness, it could be your relationships, it could be your career. It can be something as concrete as, I have a big Java project due in 3 months, or it could be something like, I would like to create multiple income streams so I become more financially independent. Both of those are long-term goals. To focus on these, you have to be proactive because they are not urgent. That Java project is due 3 months from now, not urgent. Create multiple income streams in the future. It's not going to happen today, not urgent. They are important because they have significant implications for your career goals or your life goals, but they are not urgent. So understanding this difference is critical, and using that understanding to decide what you're going to spend most of your time on each day is what is going to help you achieve your life goals. So now let's look at the specifics of the matrix. As you can see in the diagram, this continuum of urgency and importance essentially creates 4 quadrants. Okay, so quadrant 1 are tasks that are urgent and important. Again, these are tasks that are primarily reactive. We are reacting to some stated or implied consequence that we're trying to avoid. These are your crises, your problems. You are fighting fires. Quadrant 2 are tasks that are not urgent but are important. These are tasks that we have to proactively engage in. We are not reacting to some implied or stated consequence like the tasks in quadrant 1. For these tasks, we have to take the initiative. We have to be proactive and work on them. We have to make sure we schedule to get these tasks done. And this is where the magic happens. These are the tasks that are going to have the biggest positive impact on your long-term goals. The things that you want to accomplish, where you want to be a year from now, 5 years from now. This quadrant is where the magic happens. And the reason most of us are unable to focus on these tasks is precisely because they are not urgent. Nobody is holding a metaphorical gun to our head. It's us needing to be proactive and taking the initiative to do these things. The tasks in quadrant 3 are urgent, but they're not important. Maybe they don't need your specific skill set. Maybe they're not aligned to your goals. Maybe they're not your priorities. So examples of tasks in this category would be things like all kinds of interruptions. And we are sadly all too aware of what these are in our modern lives, right? It could be notification, ping on your phone, right? It immediately triggers a response in you. I have to check what it is. It becomes urgent. Is it important? Let's be honest, 99% of the time, it isn't important, but it feels urgent every time that phone dings. Every time you get a notification, you feel compelled to check. It becomes urgent in your brain. It could be people making demands of you, people asking you to do this, do that, be part of this committee, come attend this event. Their goals, their priorities, not necessarily yours, but they become, you feel pressured, they start feeling urgent. Quadrant 4 are tasks that are neither urgent nor important. These should not be on your list at all. It should not be something you should be spending your time on. So how do you use this matrix? Well, I'm going to give you 2 ideas. The first one is look at your to-do list. And if you don't have a to-do list, make one, because it is a really good starting point to figuring out where you're spending most of your time. Okay? Look at your to-do list and see all of these tasks. Which of the 4 quadrants do my tasks fit into? Okay? The other thing you can do, or an additional thing you need to do, is at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week, depending on how you like to manage your time, look at what you actually ended up spending time on. Okay? And then put those into the 4 quadrants, right? So what you had planned to spend time on, and then what you ended up spending your time on. And analyze what's going on there. What quadrant were you in most of the time? i.e., where were you spending most of your time? Were you spending time in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? If you find that you are spending most of your time dedicated to tasks in quadrant 2, congratulations. You are part of a very small group of people who are focusing on the tasks that are important to them and their long-term goals. You are creating incredible positive changes for yourself. And you're going to continue to be more and more successful precisely because you're spending most of your time on those tasks that are important but not urgent. If, on the other hand, you find that you are primarily in quadrant 1, where you're dealing with urgent and important tasks, then you are kind of lurching from crisis to crisis, problem to problem. You are fighting fires all the time. It is probably exhausting for you, and you probably have no time or energy to actually focus on the things that are meaningful to you, that are important to you, that you want to get done, your long-term goals. If you are spending most of your time in quadrant 3 or quadrant 4, so you're doing things that are urgent but not important, or not urgent and not important, then you are probably feeling very busy, but are you really being productive and efficient? Are you really spending time to further your life goals, your long-term goals? You're probably feeling frustrated because you feel like you don't have control over your life, because you feel like you don't have the time to dedicate to the things that are important to you. So how do you get to a point where you are spending most of your time in quadrant 2? So things that are important but not urgent. Where are you going to find the time to focus on that quadrant? You are going to find that time by minimizing things that are in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. And for that, you're going to have to choose to say no to a lot of things in those 2 quadrants. Because remember, these are not things that are going to move you forward on your life goals. And when you say no to one of those things in quadrant 3 or quadrant 4, think of the flip side of that. What are you saying yes to? You are saying yes to focusing on the things that you claim are important to you, that you claim you want to do. And when you spend time on things that are meaningful and important to you, you get a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. And remember, the more time you're able to spend on things that are important but not urgent, that quadrant 2, the more it is going to shrink your quadrant 1. If you plan and organize the important things that are out in the future, they never become a problem or a crisis. So they never end up in quadrant 1. If you plan and attend to your long-term tasks properly, then your quadrant 1 is not going to have any problems of your making. Everything you could control and take care of, you did. So your quadrant 1 is going to shrink because it's only going to have items that were outside your control. And the less time you spend in quadrants 1, 3, and 4, the more time you have to focus on the things that are really important to you, the more time you get to spend in that magical transformative quadrant 2, the land of important but not urgent. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to take a look at your to-do list and at how you actually spend your time and analyze, do some reflection, do some introspection, and figure out where are you spending most of your time. You say you want to do certain things, but are you actually spending time on them? So use the Eisenhower Matrix to finally, truly focus on the things that you claim are most important to you, and see how far it takes you 1 year from now, 5 years from now. Remember, this is an exercise that you have to continually engage in. You can't do it one time and then forget about it, because we very easily tend to backslide into focusing on urgent things that typically are not important. So we have to continually keep going through this cycle of, where am I spending my time? How am I spending my time? Am I in quadrant 2? Am I in quadrant 1? Where am I? So it is truly a process of self-improvement, and it is a continual feedback loop. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the Eisenhower Matrix. I know it can be transformative if you spend the time and effort to really put it to use. If you do choose to use this personal management tool, let me know what you observed, what changes you made in your life. I always love hearing from you. If you haven't already, take a moment to like the video, to leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content that I upload. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next week.